Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be making Justin Bieber in charcoal by using only 2 pencils. So let's get started. This is the list of every material I've used for this drawing. You can pause the video if you want. So I started by making a sketch using grid method on a thick A4 sized paper. Now use your darkest charcoal pencil you have, the soft or the 2B one, and cover the eyeball in jet black. On the left side of the eyeball there is some highlight, so don't cover it fully in jet black. So now I'm making the outline for the eye on the upper portion of the eye and cover it in jet black also. Make sure the lines aren't too thick. And on the tear duct, cover it lightly. And on the below portion of the eyelid, don't cover it very dark, just lightly shade over. And now on the upper crease of the eye, in the middle, make it very dark and fade it outwards. Now take a blending stump and blend the down crease and the upper crease into the other parts of the eye. Now blend it nicely so that it looks like the skin. Make sure it doesn't have too much roughness. Now take a paper blending stump again and blend over everything nicely again. Now you can take a soft pastel and darken some areas if you want. Here I am taking a black soft pastel so that it looks more pastely and not very rough. Now in the eyebrow, there wasn't quite much detail, so I covered it in soft pastel, and on the outer portions of the eyebrow, I made some streaks, or you can say hair. Then I blended it with a paper stump. Now you can darken up the eyeball with a soft pastel if you want. I darkened it up here as there were some white spots to be seen. Now blend it with a paper stump. When you use an oil soft pastel, make sure you always blend it with a paper stump and not with a brush. Otherwise it can get very chalky. Now take a brush, a synthetic brush, to blend everything into the skin even further. Now with a mono zero eraser or a normal eraser, you can add some highlights. Now with the brush, you can take some charcoal powder and on the left side of his eye, give some shadows. You can also use a pencil, but I find that it gives off some sort of texture after the end. If you want to use the charcoal powder, you can make it from a soft pastel or a charcoal block by scraping off its powder in a plate, and then you can apply it directly from the brush. It's more easier and it gives a soft touch. Now you can start doing the nose. Here I did a really big mistake and went in directly with the charcoal pencil. Do not do that. As I said earlier, it gives a really bad texture. In here, after doing this, I will erase this and come in with a brush. Make sure you don't do this mistake. Now, moving on to the nostril part, you can take a soft pastel or a dark charcoal pencil and darken up the nostril holes. You can also darken up the side edges and give some curvature and some shading on the upper part of the nostrils. Now, on the right part, give a gradient-like texture so that it looks like a shadow. And make sure you don't make the shadow too dark, otherwise it will look like a part of the nose. Now blend it all with a brush. Here you can go directly with a brush and give some more roundature to make the nose look like 3D and not flat. You can even darken up the shadows here if you want, but I think this was just quite right. Now on the edge of the nose, from where the shadow begins, make it quite dark so that it looks like it is a shadow beneath and not 2D. Now you can also give some shadows beneath the nostrils to make it look more 3D. Now you can repeat the same process on the second eye. Here I did a pretty small mistake by making the whole eye pastel black. That was a mistake, don't do it. Wherever there are some highlights, leave some space and go in with a lighter grade pencil. The overall process for this eye is also the same. The only other extra thing that I did was I went in with the pencil a little bit more. Now blending it with a brush. It became even smooth, but you can make it even further smoother by using a blending stump. I suggest to use a blending stump with brushes. It always works magically. Now with a Tombow Mono 0 eraser or any regular eraser, you can add some highlights in here. Now with a pastel block, you can shade the eyebrows similarly to the other eyebrow. After doing this, we'll move on to the lips. The lips didn't have much shade. The middle part of the lips, the middle line, was quite dark, so make sure you make it quite dark in there. The upper portion, I made an outline of the lips, and on the left and right sides I gave some shadows. Now blend it with a brush or a paper blending stump, but I suggest you take the brush so that it looks even more nice. Here I am darkening up the nose a little bit more because it looked kind of not good. It was looking kind of flat. So now with the brush I am making some shadows beneath the nose. And on the left side of the face, I have started shading with the brush. The process is the same. You need to take some charcoal powder on the brush and then blend it nicely on the skin. On the forehead, make sure that when you use the brush, it doesn't give harsh edges, because the forehead is usually not very rough, it's very soft. So when you use your brush or paper blending stump, it shouldn't give hard edges. If it gives hard edges, it will look like the face is kind of not natural. It won't look natural. So now on the chin is also pretty simple. Just on the very down, there was a really harsh shadow. So I went in with the pastel block and covered it. And after doing that, I started blending it with a brush. Now beneath the lips, add some more shadows to make it look even more 3D. If you add these shadows, it's gonna look more 3D and less two-dimensional. You can also add some highlights in the lips if you want. Further in the video, I will add some more highlights because I didn't think these were enough. Now darken up the lips a little bit more because I thought they were a little bit off and less three-dimensional. You can also add some more highlights. Now on the left and right side of the lips, add some tiny lines to make them look like the mustache hair. You make sure they're not very dark or very and are not standing out very much. Make sure they're very light and random. Now blend these lines over, like with a dotting technique, blend over them with a paper blending stump. It will give more realistic texture. Now on this portrait, there was some kind of pimples type of thing. I don't think they were pimples, I think they were some kind of spots. So with a paper blending stump, just add them really lightly, not very much. So now I am adding some more touch-ups to the face Now I am giving some touch-ups on the face using the brush. Now on the nose and the lip portion, add some more highlights. Now with the ear didn't have very much detail, so first I covered it with a thin layer of charcoal powder and went in directly with my medium grade charcoal pencil and added all the shadows. Then I blended it over with a brush and a paper blending stump. Now the neck. In here also I did a pretty big mistake. In here, after I went with the brush, I went in with my charcoal pencil and the result was very grainy. I thought this would be a quicker process, but it didn't work out really well. I tried to make it correct, but it just didn't go because it's charcoal. So make sure you don't do pretty bad mistakes because they won't erase. The charcoal brush can get erased. The charcoal pencil, no. Now with the neck was also very simple. I just went in with the brush directly and added some shades. Now moving on to the hair portion. The hair, first take the darkest grade pencil or the pastel block you have, and on the down portion of the hair add dark streaks. And make sure the very down is dark, it doesn't look like it has lines. The upper portion should have lines. And on the lighter portion of the hair, the upper portion, make sure you don't fill it completely with black lines. It should have 4 or 5 lines like that, like I have done here on the left side. Now the process of the hair was very simple as there wasn't much blackness in the hair were blonde, so it was very easy to do these hair. The process is, first you give it all the shadows and all, and after that you blend it a little bit to make it look like hair, and then you give some highlights to it and it looks like hair. Now the down portion of the hair, where the hair is starting, blend it with a brush to make sure like it's attached to the head and not some wig. Now I'm giving some more streaks to the hair, and after that take a paper blending stump and very lightly go over in the direction of the hair. After doing this, make sure that your hair isn't looking very messy. If it is looking kind of messy, go in with your dark pencil again and give some touch-ups. Here I went in with my pencil and gave some touch-ups because I thought the hair was looking very light. Now go in with your Tombow Mono Zero eraser or any stick eraser and give some highlights to it. Make sure they're on the lighter portions and not overlapping the darker portions. Now moving on to the t-shirt. The t-shirt was really easy. Just fill it with soft pastel and then blend it out. After doing that, the down portion, add some lines and streaks because that's how the pattern of the t-shirt was. And the drawing is complete. Very good, everyone. Now thanks for watching this video. Do like, share and subscribe my videos for more amazing content like this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.